Welcome back, people. Welcome back. This is our second episode. Welcome back to the Ordinary People Podcast. I am Jay Fuse, and I got
Big D, Randall, Red.
So we're gonna be coming to y'all with a pretty touchy topic, man. We're gonna be talking about some men and women in a certain situation. You want to kick it off, though?
Yeah. So I've been seeing a lot lately. I want to talk about women progressing. So let's say a man and a woman, they've been married, whatever, they got together and they both had their high school diploma. And throughout life, they're working. He has a decent job, she has a decent job, but she's going back to school. She gets her bachelor. And then she goes on to get her master's. And she's achieving, so her credit's good. And he's been working and, taking care of the family and doing whatever. A good guy, just not making a whole bunch of money like her. He's not achieving things like she is, I guess, but he's, a good man, not cheating, doing everything he's supposed to do. And eventually the woman's like, well, you're not making enough money. You're not doing anything enough for me. And she ends up leaving him. And I just wanted to see how you guys feel about that. And look at it from the perspective of the woman. And maybe, how you would feel if you were in her position and you did all this and he's still sitting still.
Let me ask the first question. So while she was going back to school, he was holding her down?
Yeah. Holding her down.
Paying all the bills the whole time, just doing
holding
everything.
Her down, being doing what he's supposed to. That's his wife. He got her back like he.
So then when she achieved her bachelor's or her master's and went on to better herself, then it was like, oh, you ain't doing nothing. I held you down. What are you talking about? Like this is what I guarantee you. 9 times out of 10, they talk about it. All right, baby, you go ahead and go back to school. I pay all the bills. I do everything else. I'm not telling you nothing. I heard. I'm telling you firsthand experience. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you what I know. So it's like, you go ahead and go to school. I'm gonna pay all the bills. I'm gonna hold us down, and then when you get yours, then I'ma go.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But that I'ma go ain't never happened.
But what if he doesn't have a desire to go? What if he's happy what he's doing? He don't really like. He enjoys what he does. He don't want to go back, and he likes what he do. He's fine. And what if he. He's good with life. Why can't he do that? And if he's a good person doing what he's supposed to do, why can't he do that?
Hey, I can't.
I mean, he may not. I'm just saying he may not like. Why would he have to even go get educated anymore? If she was fine with him and he,
when she first met him,
I understand about progressing and in life and doing stuff, but what I'm saying, he hadn't had a chance to progress maybe like she has because he's been rock solid. You know what I mean? And now that he's over, he's just tired, lazy. He's been working this whole time. Maybe he just wants to relax. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And really, depending on his career, really, you don't even need school. Like last few years, I've learned that I've came to the conclusion a lot of things that we need in this world to succeed, they don't teach us in school. And that's the honest truth. To buy property, get loans from the bank, to build credit. None of this is taught in school. They're just starting to try to do it. I think a Florida school was the first school to say they're gonna bring in. But I'm just saying in general, they was the first ones to say they was gonna bring in credit, teaching about credit in their schools. Mm-hmm. But in general, I'm just saying maybe he didn't want to. I'm gonna get back to that. Maybe he didn't want to. His desire, like you said, wasn't to go back to school. Maybe his career was to do something else, but she didn't give him a chance to really decide. Or did she? You get what I'm saying? I mean, did she give him a chance and he just didn't follow through with his part? How do we know?
Yeah, we don't.
You get what I'm saying?
We can only speak from experience, but we don't know about anybody else. Like Randall said, he might be solid.
Right.
And just because she making more money than him, he might be making $50,000 on his job.
Right.
We don't know what kind of job this dude got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But it helped her get through school.
But I'm just playing
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times.
I'm just playing the devil advocate. Say you right. Say he did she did her part, he did his part, but then it came back around to him. And
going back to school, they made an agreement that he was going to do that.
Go back and he say, nah, I don't want to do it. And now she's like, well, now we not getting done what we supposed to got done because the agreement ain't fully through.
But what if it took her X amount of years to get to where she wanted to get to, and he looking like,
I wasted my time.
I'm gonna waste 5 or 6 years to do this. Let's say he is making 50, 60,000 a year. Okay, I'm making 50, 60,000 a year. So what, you making 100, 120, 140, whatever. Like, we still should be equal. We still should be on the same page to get to the next level to do what we want to do.
Now, you don't think she might have been looking at it like
We can't get to the next level because you ain't do what you
like he's holding her back because you didn't do what you were supposed to do? That's what I was gonna say.
I mean,
I mean,
I'm playing devil advocate
so
to
listen
see
to
it
this.
like comparisons.
So put it
That's
like
all.
this: how many men have done the exact same thing when they went back to school? Their wives held them down, took care of the family. They went back and got their degree. And don't get me wrong, getting a degree don't mean you make a whole
Right.
bunch of money.
Yeah,
I'm
right,
just
right.
saying, like,
Yeah.
but it's a
You got a
status
piece of
thing.
paper.
But it's a
Yeah.
status thing for a
Status
lot of
quo.
people. You know what I'm saying? So they get this, they get their masters. He might, you know, have a job or whatever of such status or whatever. And how many men have left a woman? There's been a ton
After
of them.
they got it,
There's been
right?
a ton of them.
A
Right.
ton.
There's
Yeah.
been a ton of them who stayed. They
Right.
did that. And so we can't necessarily be that mad at them because they doing what we did. They getting it down. I'm just saying, like, it sucks or whatever, and you will hope for more out of that person. You would hope that they would be, you know, better than that.
I
But
mean,
like, it kind of.
from personal experience, like you said, I went through a situation where I was holding the chick down. She wanted to do some stuff, and I'm like, all right, what all need to be done? Okay, cool. Everything was coming in, ducks in a row. She started to do some other shit that she wanted to do that wasn't brought to the table. Long story short, she wherever she want to be at now. I don't know if she's struggling or not, but I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I had put my stuff on hold, and I was holding her down and the whole family. I was working 3 jobs. I was working Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week.
Not getting appreciated.
Not getting appreciated. And there's a lot of guys out there that's not getting appreciated. So, again, we don't know the full dynamic
I was just
of the
about to
story.
say that. How we know that it didn't even have nothing to do with the career. It could have been some personal shit
Right.
but it just lined up like that after
Right.
she got hers, he yanked his, or whatever the case may be, and they just happened to split.
And you know, too, what happens sometimes is, which sucks. Sometimes, as you know, she's getting educated, he's not. You start hanging around different people.
Different mindsets.
Different mindsets. You
Yes.
kind of start splitting.
Yep.
Like you guys were. That's why it's
I see what
always.
you're saying.
Oh, you
It's
grow
always
apart.
good too,
Yeah.
like when you see your significant other, whatever, and you know, working. It's good for you to be working, educating yourself on whatever it is. Don't have to be a school education, but whatever it is to better yourself, so they can feel like this person is coming up doing stuff more with yourself. Because you know, not too often they can just sit home. Maybe she's going to school and working.
Right.
Like,
And
you know,
kids.
taking
And
care-
kids,
right.
so
And he's working, you know, yeah, supporting, giving
Same
a little bit
thing,
more
right.
support, but like, you know, she's like, man, I've been busting my butt for
yeah.
10 years now, and I'm finally there. Okay, you ready? Like, and then it's like, dag on, bro.
I'm working harder than you.
Yeah,
like,
then you know, I didn't
Yeah.
help you take care of these. You ain't do this by
Right.
yourself. You know, maybe you put extra hours in and stuff, but you know, where does it go? So it's just like it can go either way. It's a lot going into that question. You know, you gotta know the mindset of the person,
Right.
and you know,
Absolutely.
it leads into. But then you got
Of both.
then you
The
got
mindset
a
of both.
situation lead into the next situation on that. You got these situations where you get these women who do all that and make it that part. Then they leave. And then they leave that man with the kids. You know, this right here never gets talked about.
Mhm.
Yep.
This stuff never gets talked
Yep.
about. They leave and then that man is left with the kids by himself. And then what? And then, you know, then it's a whole different scenario because he's the only thing he knows. Then you got a single dad with kids
With
to take
kids.
care of, and then look at how the kids are looking. Like, especially depending on
Yeah.
the age of the kids, what they know about the situation, and then it's just that brings on just so many different scenarios. What can go leadership? So what happens? I think a lot of times, so that way these people get selfish.
That's what happened.
And they don't think about the big pictures of who and what's getting affected by her. She hit that certain status level and
I'm
making that
already
certain
here.
amount
I
of
can
money.
do this by myself.
Yeah,
now.
you do this by yourself. But what about the kids? They need you guys.
Right.
They-
Both.
Y'all been strong. Yeah, they need y'all
Both.
together. Y'all been strong together. Like, you know, and so I don't think that should. I think that
They need both.
financial stability should always come in play.
Mhm.
But I don't think that it should be the only thing, and I don't think that should
Yeah,
be
not at all,
not at
yeah.
all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's better to struggle with somebody who you love and got your back than have it made with somebody who don't really
Yeah,
necessarily
use
got
you.
your back, just
Yeah,
use
right.
you. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of people forget, like some of the decisions that we make now, it's going to affect 10 years down the road.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to be mindful of that too. Okay, so if I make this decision, like we was talking earlier, so if I make this decision right here, we all made a conscious decision. Fellas, we're gonna get together, we're gonna start this podcast, we're gonna do this, and then when we get here, this is where we want to be. Saying that, I mean, it's just like life.
Yeah.
I plan on leaving, or I'm gonna leave you, and then the kids are stuck. The kids like, well, why mommy and daddy not together?
I don't know
no
what
more?
to do.
Why I gotta go stay with daddy, and then I gotta go back home to mom with like, what's going on? And they grow up messed
Confused.
up, confused,
Yep.
confused.
Yep.
So it's just like, you know, we gotta remember, whatever decision we make, look at the consequences or the pros and cons. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be like a 10 years from now.
Especially-
what's gonna happen?
Especially us, you know what I'm saying, like black people and where we come from. A lot of our households only do have one parent. You know, either it's a father or a mother, you know what I mean? But a lot of us only do have one parent. And
Sometimes you ain't even got them. You got an aunt, an uncle, or
grandparents,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we learn to adapt, you know what I mean? We learn to adapt with that and turn something into nothing, because that's all we know how to do. But it's just still a tricky situation, because like we said, we don't know the background of you know what I mean, or what was their word agreement, or you know what I mean, or before they got married, what was their agreement?
Yeah. What
'Cause
happened?
because if one of them ain't do it, you know what I mean? Well, we're saying she left him, right? So I'm
You
looking
can do
at
it
it
either
like,
way. I say, what about
Right.
he left her?
He left her, right. And I'm looking at it just like somebody in that situation, because I feel like a lot of relationships fall like that, because in the beginning we agree to this, you know, we say this, we do this, everything's peachy in the beginning, but then as time go on, somebody forget their part. And that's where you
But you know
know
what
they
come into
start
play
to
with that?
split from there.
Communication. The communication.
Communication,
falls off.
right.
At the beginning, when both of y'all struggling,
Mhm.
and you got a plan,
Mhm.
the plan go
Y'all
on
talking about
y'all
everything.
Talking about
communicate
everything.
with
How much money we spend here? Well, how much money we spend
Once
there?
that plan
Exactly.
start, you start to
Everything.
see that plan open up. You start to see it's really, unfold, and you like, oh, okay, yeah. The communication fall off. Once the communication fall off, then the plan start to go on its own separate path.
Right.
Now you focused over here because you didn't reach this level.
She focused over
And
here.
right. So now y'all not even on the same page no more,
No,
because
right.
y'all left the communication at the beginning.
Check this out. You said something key. You said in relationships. So, okay, think about it like this. Now listen to this. So, he's my boss, right?
Uh-huh.
So, we got an agreement.
Okay.
D, you watch the door. That's your job. So, okay, we got bartenders. This is what y'all do. Okay? And then we got everybody, we got cooks. Okay, you got to go in here, you got to cook this certain amount, you got to make sure you get these out.
Take this
So that's the agreement. So, when stuff like that goes wrong, or it's, like I might be late one day, and I don't say, hey, bro, I'm running late.
Right.
When I find out I know I'm gonna be late, I text him right off. I'm gonna be here like 15 minutes. Or Suppose, like you just said, when the communication breaks down, now you got to try to figure out what you said. Now we're trying to defend for ourselves. We're trying to make something out of nothing. We learning to adapt,
Right.
and we shouldn't have to learn to adapt. It should run like it's supposed to run.
Right.
Go ahead.
Saying all that, the most important thing that we said so far, relationships, whether it's husband, wife, whether it's employer-employee, whether it's homeboys, is communication.
Communication. I was just about to say that.
And so this is for all of us. Like we said, this is the Ordinary People podcast.
Right.
So we some regular dudes. And why we get along with each other so well is because we communicate. We can have a problem with each other, which is okay.
Talk about
But
it.
you won't know it.
But
Because we talk about
we'll
it.
We
talk
already
about
talked about it, yeah.
We'll talk about it between
Before it
each
even
other
get-
before there. And
Yeah.
so,
Facts.
if we can say anything about what this podcast is about today, it's mainly about communication. If that husband and wife
With the
will
community.
communicate and been the same way they communicated when they were making the agreement, and as things were starting to change in their lives, communicating, hey, this is what's going on, what can we do to keep together? I think that will make a big difference. And what happens is, like Q said, as we get more comfortable, as we get more into whatever our relationship may be, we stop communicating. We start assuming that they know what we're thinking
Yeah.
because they know us so well.
Yeah.
But like I say all the time, you got to use your words. In order, you can't think that somebody automatically knows how you feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could be upset about something, they can have no clue. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all right to pull somebody up, pull somebody to the side. Yo, I appreciate that. It's about, I think it's more than anything when we're talking to our folks and whoever, it's about how we say it, and I got to work on that myself, and then what we say. If we come in the right, approach anything the right way, it makes all the difference in the world, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so, hey,
Body language is communication too.
body language, you know,
You
it's
can
Or not saying
I'm
something.
not saying something.
Not saying anything. It's a lot of communication.
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than anything,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And so, you know, I just appreciate the way we all communicate, you know, and continuous communication like that. It's gonna help us grow, but help our families grow right. And all that,
I
you know
agree,
what I'm saying? You know, we all got significant others, and we all got children, and it goes from as far as us communicating the correct way with our kids. You can't just communicate, yelling and telling you gotta be able to show love and all that kind of stuff. I see everybody in here. I've seen everybody in here with their kid, and it's nothing but a bunch of love. Like, so yes, we all disciplining our kids, all getting on them, but we all hugging and kissing and loving our kids, dog. And it goes a long ways, and I appreciate that about y'all. They're serious.
I wanted to chime in with that too. Like, you're right. Like, even with the communication, I would say, like, since we started, because my overall question I was going to ask everybody, but you kind of touched it up anyway. I was going to say that y'all think communication would be the problem to a lot of relationships, or not just men and women relationships, friendships,
In general.
work relationships, you know what I mean? In
Brothers and
general.
sisters, everybody.
Right, exactly. And
Absolutely.
I was thinking that too, like, even since we started doing this, or since we all started working together, we've communicated, like, even if we all didn't agree to something, we communicate about it, and we talked about it, and it's like a vote without us even thinking about it.
Right.
It's like, if we talk about something,
As far as even what
if
we
we talk,
shot this-
yeah, exactly.
Y'all just seen that today.
Right, like we talk about something and 3 people say yeah and 1 say no, that 1 person just gonna roll with it, like, all right, cool. You get what I'm saying? Without even having
Right.
to be like, oh,
Because
well,
at
why
the
we
end of the
can't
day,
do
we
this,
know-
why
we
we
know what
can't
the
do
cause
that.
is. We know what we doing.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
what
it's
the
no,
cause is.
it's no problem, and I feel like that alone what keeps us firm. You know what I'm saying? It keeps us firm. We don't have no problems, and we building, we communicating, and I feel like as long as we continue to communicate,
Oh, shoot.
yeah,
Yep.
we're gonna be
That's what's
good.
up.
I just want to say that to everybody.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Come check in. Every new
Communication.
episode, every week.
Don't be afraid to talk.
Don't be afraid.
Communication. is the
Ordinary
key.
People Podcast, OPP. Check us out. Like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Have a good night.